What is going on YouTube, y'all squad? This is your boy Yakrates. This is your review for Real Housewives of Miami Season 6, Episode 3. So we pick up where we left off, and this is with Gertie, talking with Larsa. And I honestly thought that Gertie was just going to up and leave, but Gertie proved me wrong. So Gertie tells Larsa, she has breast cancer, which I was shocked that came out. But it's how Larsa responded that it's just like, okay, yeah, you have no soul. Because she responds with, how am I supposed to know that? She just told you. You not even being present in the moment. And then she questions her saying, you have breast cancer? How do you know? Baby, I looked at the screen. Gertie looking at me, looking at her, looking at the screen, just like, she like, I had a mammogram. Like, how else am I going? Look. Gertie is not a Kim, a Grandmaster Zodiac. Okay, that ain't that. Where it's the we pretending to have, something all because we're trying to have a moment or whatever. The Mia of it all. So Gertie tries to talk to Larsa, but Larsa keeps cutting her off, which again, I just don't get why Gertie did not get up and leave. I would have, but again, that's me. Gertie wants to just let things go because she doesn't have the energy to go back and forth. And I get it, especially knowing, she still has to let her children know. Then it's the whole having to go through the surgery, what all that can entail. I believe she still has to do chemo. But then, depending on what the biopsy, well, I guess not the biopsy, but like what comes after the surgery, anything can happen. Like they might even need to do radiation. Like you never know, and it's a whole big thing of uncertainty. So I get where it's just like I ain't even got the energy to be going back and forth with you. Like she's really just trying to have some resolution. Larsa wishes she would have said that as soon as they sat down. I'm looking at Larsa like, you are just tone deaf. Wow. But again, everything with her is fake and surface. So what do we expect? And then Gertie wants her pretty much to appreciate the fact that she's only the fourth person in a group to know. And she hasn't gotten around to telling everybody else. So it value this enough, respect what I'm doing with you right now, but like just take this for what it is that I'm trying to move forward with you being number 4. Understandable. And they hug it out. And the caption reads on the screen, 6 hours later. No, really, 6 hours later. I'm like, And Larsa is at her home for the welcome home party for Marcus. And her friends, because again, people have their show friends, aka coworkers, then you got your real friends. So her real friends show up, and she was like, "Yeah, because I met with Gertie, and she told me she had cancer." And I'm really sitting here like, I get it. Sometimes we do share things with our friends, but something such as that, especially when this is in no way, shape, form, or fashion your bitch, because she could have just said, I sat down with Gertie, she, told me that she's going through some things, and like I had no idea, and da 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 da, and like really could have kept it vague, but you just told this woman, and I'm like, because at first I'm thinking, how messed up would it be if one of these women went to the blog, and even Lars had said, oh, I might just tell TMZ, oh no, I'm kidding. Like, that's not something to joke about. But that wasn't the end of it, everyone. Where am I at in my notes? So then, wait. Yeah, I said that. Uh, I'm about to say Manetta. Mary saw Lisa and Kiki. They're the first to get there. Alexia is on the way. And Larsa pretty much tells them Gertie's business yet again. And I'm just sitting here like, what the hell? Okay, so we just being messy. So, and I'm trying to figure out, like, is this gonna be Larsa's, fallback storyline in the event? Like, as many of us don't care about her dating Marcus. I don't. So, like, is this supposed to be like the backup just in case? Like, Oh, I hope Gertie just lays into her like on some real. But at the same exact time, I even question why Gertie even confide. I get it. I just wouldn't have done it. And Marisol begins to tear because it's like, man, look, I'm losing people left and right. I don't need to hit this. And other girls like, hey, don't put too much sauce on it. Like we don't think that it's all of that. Now let's bring it back just a little bit. So then Alexia and Todd shows up, and I believe it was Keita just like, okay, so Todd, you can come to this party, but you can come to your own party. I'm like, I don't always see it for Kiki, but I mean, I'm with you when you're right. And then Marisol says to Larsa, tell Alexia what you told me. Again, this is how this thing goes. And she says it to Alexia. And Alexia is like, oh my God. Because she's taken aback. And I was watching somebody's review. I believe it was Color Me Pink. And she made a good analysis where when they were at Marisol's brunch and Larsa was bringing up her issues with Gertie, how Alexia was just like, you never know, it could be something going on with her that we don't know about. And then Alexia's friend echoed the same exact thing, and it was one of those things like, did they know something, and did they just have a feeling that something was coming down the pipeline? And you have two people trying to tell you that, hey, it might be something medical. So yeah, Alexia's just like, wow, and I think this may help her. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. So then Larsa tells them to let her tell them the same exact thing you should have did. Anyway, Marcus shows up and, Todd greets him and he says, Todd, like, I thought I was going to see you at your party. And then, Todd says, like, he went over the guest list with Alexia, saw some names because he was trying to keep it vague, but he saw a name that he didn't like. And the fact that this person was going around bashing his family, especially his stepson, yeah, he didn't want to be in that person's presence. They asked who it is, and Alexia was like, it's Adriana. And I don't, like, is it just that? Or is it, because he said people, but Alexia, summed it up to a person. So is it just that? And if that's the case, then Adriana, you got some explaining to do because your story sounds a little bit off in terms of what Todd said to you. But that's one of those things where I get it. I understand it. So I don't really know how to feel. But no, I get it. Like if somebody's talking about my, stepson or whatever, like, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have a problem with it. Like anybody close to me, you ain't finna just talk about him like that. That we ain't finna do. But whatever. So Ty pivots the conversation and asks Lars and Marcus about their little event not a little event because that's derogatory, about their event happening and they're having a charity basketball game, which was smooth. Ty, okay, you get points there. So Lisa, okay, so then the men separate from the women, and I believe it was Marisol that asked Lisa like, how are things going? She shares how her and Jody are, possibly looking at, a house, whatever, together. You're like, that's the future. But, she is taking it slow and whatnot. And she doesn't really want this to be a rebound. And then she begins to talk about everything that Lenny is putting her through. And Jody can hear it from the outside and eventually kind of makes his way in. And the girls are trying to tell her, like, okay, like, we get it that he's taking you through it, but you're putting too much energy into this. And not just that, in that sense, you're using Lenny as a lightning rod to get all of this off. He's not your therapist. And it's not fair to him to do that. And they don't want her to, you pretty much run Jody away because you could only take but so much. And I'm going to say this. I wish them nothing but the best, but I don't see it lasting. And here's why. I call her Larsa. Lisa is not whole. She's not. Now, we don't know if Jody is or isn't whole, but for the sake of this, we just going to say they're both, well, no, because she's fractured. So she's probably at 25% of who she is. And with Lenny, she was at 100. So Lenny removing not only himself, but the kids being involved too took away 75%. So now there's a 75% gap. And now you have Jody coming in. and pretty much filling in that void. But she has to become whole and reconcile all these different things with herself, and isn't using the access that she has to take the appropriate actions, like going to a therapist and really getting all of this out. You're pretty much just using your boyfriend as just that, a therapist. And that is going to become, exhausting, because after a while, he's not going to want to hear it. That's going to create, tension there. And then I'm going to just say if, because I don't want to speak this into this, but if he decides to leave, you are already at 25. With him, you're at 100. He leaves you, you're going to go back down to 25, but you're probably going to drop to 15. And now you're going to be less of who you really are. So I really just want for Lisa to become whole and do what she needs to do, because we're going to see her in a. And I'll just go ahead and say it. She has her children for, I don't know if it was for the night, weekend, or whatever. It's a pizza night. The oldest son gets the pizza from the delivery driver, and she's on the phone with Jody, and it's pretty much just like venting and just unloading on him about everything, dealing with Lenny, which is still, again, it's very, very sad that she's doing it. And then when she's talking to the son, he's not paying attention to her because he wants to eat. And then she even said, okay, you can't have any more pizza. And it's clear that she doesn't have any control over her life. She's spiraling. Again, she is not whole and she's not happy with herself. And guess what? Your child is now becoming your lightning rod too, because your boyfriend is your emotional lightning rod. All of your, and it seems like some of her anger, frustration, she was literally pushing to her son. And that's not healthy. So I just want for Lisa just to be the best version of herself. And sometimes going through a period of isolation is needed for your elevation. But I ain't come here to preach. So moving on. We get Nicole and Anthony. They going shopping for yachts. Okay, one yacht is 8.8 milli. The other one's 11.9 milli. But the 11.9 milli is more of a bachelor type of yacht. And they even say like they want to work on baby number 2. So for them to have, because they don't want a yacht that's good for a weekend. They want a yacht that's good for a whole week. But it needs to not look bachelory and needs to have enough space to accommodate the 3 of them and a possible, if she does end up getting pregnant, which I think she is, but not sure about it. Whatever. Uh, yeah. So now we get Julia. She FaceTimes Gertie. She's learning to sing opera because while Martina was going through, her treatments and whatnot, she fell in love with a certain song that's an opera song that resonated with her. So Julia wants to throw like a little party for her, and at this party, she wants to sing this opera song, which we do see the previews for that. All I'm gonna say is currently Julia is giving it the old college try, but it's one. But here's the thing: singing classical / opera and just modern contemporary music, 2 totally different things, 2 totally different sets of muscle skills, and the whole shebanga. And yeah, but she's giving it the good old college try. That's all I can say. Y'all want to know how I feel? Look at her dog while she was singing. Anyway, we get Gertie. We find out that she has a bird phobia. She talks to Russell. And, she was saying how she was doing some reading and, they say online that, the partner should never tell the person dealing with cancer to not be emotional. She was like, no, no, no. I didn't say don't be emotional. I said when you go to talk to the boys about it, to not be emotional, that you have to be strong for them. I'm like, good save, Russell, good save. And then she was like, pretty much lets us know that she wanted him to talk to them, and he did. And he went online to see like what was the best thing, and pretty much just kind of gave it to him, for their respective ages, and they pretty much took it. Well, I believe their youngest, his only concern was, is it contagious? And it's the innocence is still there, and I think that is a great thing, and that is what's holding Gertie together. I'm just going to say that from not immediate experience, because again, I haven't physically dealt with it with a parent, but as I said to y'all, my cousin who had passed from cancer was living in this apartment, which is the apartment that I grew up in, the apartment that I'm currently back living in, and I was downstairs, with moms, and just kind of seeing the change in her, where she went from being, a thick woman to, kind of slimming down, to getting her vitality back, to literally being, like skin and bones and whatnot, and frail and everything else. And then even seeing how her boys were taking it, primarily the oldest. And just it went from them being okay with it to when it came back more aggressive, it was just, it took a lot out of it. And her eldest child, it was to a point where he was emotionally detached. Which I'm pretty sure he regrets being emotionally detached because, shortly thereafter, his mom wasn't here. But it's one of those where the kid, like everybody that's close to Gertie, is going to feel it. And I just hope they do a good enough job of shielding them and showing her in the best spirits, because that's going to have some lasting effects on the kid's psyche. And they're more than likely going to need some type of therapy when it's all said and done. So, but shout out to Russell for, doing that for Gertie. And she appreciates, because she just knew that she couldn't do it. And right. So then we get, okay, I already talked about Lisa and the kids. So Nicole's in her condo. She lets us know that Grayson is the one that wants the baby. He's like, he wants a baby sister instead of a brother, because if it's a boy, the boy gonna want to play with his toys and take his toys and whatnot. If it's a girl, he ain't got to worry about it. I'm like, well, I mean, I'm with you when you're right. So where is the lie? And then she talks with her mom about, the new house and everything, and how she and Anthony are have investment properties. But she, and in her interview, the producer was like, okay, so do y'all share them? And she was like, I ain't paying for nothing. But she then goes on to say, but the investment properties that she had before she met Anthony, she still has. I'm like, smart girl. Whatever you have when you get into a situation, relationship, marriage, you keep that. You don't never get that stuff away, especially if there's a power dynamic. You never get it. Nope, don't do that. So, and she even says how, engagement is, like not really a priority. But her mom was even saying how, what happens if y'all are no longer together, because she was saying about marriage, because at least if y'all divorce, y'all split everything. And she tells her mom, like, I ain't trying to end up like Lisa, because Lisa was married and look what she going through. And I don't think that was shade. It was just some facts. And she was like, but I modeled my life after what you went through. So financial independence is, of the utmost importance. And when it comes to Nicole, from what I've been able to ascertain, is whatever they have acquired together, yeah, they obviously are just going to split it down the middle. If not, hoping that they do, because they are so cute together. But if they end up separating, it ain't nothing but for that to go right down the middle. Whatever investment properties that Anthony has, those are his investment properties. If he's paying for everything, like, it just is what it is. So again, I think Nicole is a smart cookie, and hey, you have to do what's best for you and not what other people feel is best for you. Because again, most of them ain't happy. So we get Julia and Martina. Cause yeah, I'm gonna just end with them. Martina tells her that she failed to notice her last treatment, and it knocked her on her bum. And I was kind of looking, because when I saw it in the preview, she's like, "Oh wow!" But I knew, I'm like, it probably wasn't that. And Julia confirms that to us that it's because she's working on this opera music and whatnot. But because she's trying to keep it a surprise, she can't just tell her, so she just had to eat it. And Gertie ends up joining them, and Gertie is shocked to know that Martina was doing both her treatments at the same time, chemo and radiation. And Gertie's at that point to where it's, she doesn't want to say the word chemo, let alone knowing that she has to undergo it. And it goes back to what I was saying last week, where sometimes people don't want to say certain things because when they say it, it makes it a reality. And, she's still in that mode of, she knows it's real, but it's not real, so I get it. And Martina was even asking her, okay, like, what is your plan? Because what she has right now is, you have both sides of the spectrum right in front of you. You have Martina that pretty much has ended her last treatment right there in front of you. And this is the person that, if anything, this, like, you can bounce stuff off of her because she can tell you, but then to her right, your left, is Julia, her wife, the one that espoused that helped me, the one that has to endure and be strong for the other one, which is going to be her Russell. So powerful scene and everything, and Gertie pretty much just has like the basic plan of what they plan to do, but again, it's a whole lot of uncertainty, and it's not until you start getting in the thick of it that things can change really, really quickly. But wishing her, well, actually them, because even though we know that Martina, is on the other side, pray that it stays that way, and pray that everything goes well for Gertie. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I squeezed a lot out of this. I didn't really think I had that much, but obviously I did. So that is all that I have. Stay tuned because my Beverly Hills review is coming up right after this. Again, if the cable is cabling, y'all will get Potomac tonight. Tomorrow, for the Whether You Like It or Not panel, we will be at our Really Be TV's house. And I'm probably going to be tired as all get up because, we don't want Thursday, and if I want my full 40, that means I'm going to have to pull 10-hour days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. I have to work on Friday. And yeah, that means, waking up early to make it to work by 7. Don't get off to 5:30. Get back here in just enough time to feed the dog, let her out, give her time, hurry up and eat dinner, and then do the panel, and then have to turn right back around and be right back at work. So I may be a little bit tired, but I'm going to try to give you the best that I got. But with that being said, stay tuned for my um, Beverly Hills review, and rate, comment, subscribe, and share. And I will see you all for the next video. Peace.